It's going to happen. At some point in your life, somebody is going to hand you one of these. And that is not the moment to learn how to use this guy. Here are a couple quick things everybody should know about using a handheld microphone so you can handle that moment like a boss. First, how do you know it's on, right? You'll see a lot of people do stuff where they'll tap on the head of the microphone like that so they hear the tapping. Don't do that. Please, please, please. The way this works, inside this wire cage, there's a very delicate membrane. And when you speak, when you sing, you move the air. And that air is shaking that membrane. And that then gets transferred inside the microphone into an electrical signal. Then when it comes to a speaker is taking that electrical signal and using it to vibrate a much larger and bigger membrane to create a much larger and bigger sound. So tapping on it, you risk damaging it. The way to check, if you absolutely need to know when I speak, people are going to hear it, snap twice, about an inch away from the center of the mic, and you'll know instantly without risking any damage. Speaking of damage to microphones, never, never, never do the whole drop the mic thing. I was working a venue a couple of years back, and the AV guy was telling me the story of how that decision in the moment cost a drunk groomsman over $1,000 because they had a very top-of-the-line Sennheiser handheld microphone, and the element inside was destroyed when he decided that he was going to be cool and just drop the mic. So do not do that. Speaking of shaking that membrane and the air moving that membrane, that's why it matters where you hold the microphone, right? Because the air has to get to that membrane to shake it. And the more of it that gets there, the more it captures the fullness and richness and loudness of you. If you go to those weddings, you'll see somebody just kind of like stick a mic somewhere on their stomach and just as they're talking, as if this was like a magic totem that just by holding it, you will be able to be heard. And then there'll be these ferocious, either people won't be able to hear and they get bored and there are loud noises in back, and or you might get this really ferocious feedback sound that comes and the guy will look menacingly at the AV person as if it's their fault, when really the reason that that feedback is much more likely in that situation is because of where he's holding the microphone. Because what happens is the further away you hold this, if a AV guy, a DJ is going to compensate for that, they're going to do it by increasing what we call the gain. It's kind of like volume, not exactly, but for our purposes today, think of it as the volume of the mic, right? The loudness of the mic. And the more you increase that, the more likely feedback becomes. Feedback is when the microphone hears the sound from the speaker, and that signal from the speaker gets fed back through the microphone and back to the speaker. And you get these really ugly, horrible gnashing noises. And the greater the gain, the more this microphone is picking up, and the wider the pattern it's picking up from, the more likely it's to hear the more likely it is to hear sounds that are coming from the speaker, right? So where you hold this is very important. The traditional advice is to bring it right up in front of your chin, and you're speaking across it. This creates a great sound. It's very good for that purpose. Now, the problem with this is you've got this big object right in front of your face, which kind of obscures. This is one of the most important things you have to communicate with an audience and to create a sense of connection with an audience. What I do, thumb goes right here, fingers wrap around there. That gives me a lot of control as I'm holding this. And I will place it right at the tip of my mouth, right at the edge of my mouth right there. So lots of air is coming to it, but it's to the side. So you can still see all of my face. I can still communicate with you. We can still come here and here, and that works well. But if you're just giving a best man speech, if you're just eulogizing someone, if you're just giving a business presentation, biggest note is just bring it up close to your face, and you'll be in fantastic hands. I hope things are amazing with you. I'm Nathan Coe Marsh, and I look forward to seeing you soon.